The Mandalorian is the hottest thing in Star Wars at the moment, and fans can't wait to see what Season 3 has in store for us. Now buckle in your M1 Starfighters, because we've got some exciting updates about The Mandalorian Season 3. And there's even talk of a huge reveal coming in the next season, as big as a Luke Skywalker in Season 2. We'll start off with what's been said, then we'll talk about what we can expect from the season, and then we'll finish off with some sweet speculation, because where I am right now, it looks like The Mandalorian is about to come back in a big way. And if you've been keeping in the know with The Mandalorian and all the little tidbits that come out every so often, then you'll know a lot of them have to do with characters that could be appearing next and what the upcoming season is really going to be about, with a lot of the talk centered around the characters from Star Wars Rebels making a jump into live action, along with Din Djarin going to Mandalore to redeem himself, and that's all going to happen there. However, we do have some pretty solid information that members of the Ghost Crew are going to be appearing in the Mandoverse, with Natasha Lee Bordizzo playing Sabine Wren and Emin Esfandi playing Ezra Bridger. Now, they're both confirmed for the Ahsoka series, which is due to be released around summer 2023, but that certainly doesn't mean either of them won't make an appearance in The Mandalorian, especially Sabine, seeing as she's a Mandalorian herself. And the actual plot of the show is seemingly set around the Mandalorians taking back Mandalore. Although I'm pretty sure there's more to this than meets the eye, as I doubt there'll be much of an Imperial presence still on Mandalore, considering the planet was turned to glass, as Boba said, and it's unlikely we're going to get a whole season of Homes Under the Hammer Star Wars edition, with the Mandalorians just rebuilding it all. We heard a little while ago that there's going to be a lot of Mandalorians in this next season, and some of them have already been seen in the teaser trailer, but you only really have to look as far as who's writing the episodes and who's writing what episodes in particular to get an idea of where things are going to go. Recently, it was revealed online the writers involved in each episode, and it was a little surprising if I'm honest. Now, The Mandalorian is known as very much being a Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni thing. However, when it comes down to the actual writing, usually it's mostly Jon Favreau, with Dave Filoni only writing one episode in each of the first two seasons, and co-writing one episode for the Book of Boba Fett, two of which handle Ahsoka, a character that Dave created, and the other one finishing off with a Boba Fett tease in Season 1. But this time around, Dave Filoni has co-written two of the episodes with Jon, and another writer named Noah Claw, who worked on the Book of Boba Fett, has co-written an episode with Jon as well, which to me indicates that that's going to be a Boba Fett episode, with an unreleased trailer actually briefly featuring Boba Fett as well, which adds more weight to that idea. I think the timing of these episodes are important too, which could also tie into a big reveal I mentioned earlier on, which we'll come on to in a moment. You see, the episode that Claw co-wrote is episode 3, so the first two episodes, for example, they could be episodes where Din Djarin goes to Mandalore to try and redeem himself. This is where he runs into Bo-Katan on Mandalore, which we see in the trailer. Together, the two decide to reclaim Mandalore and bring the people back. Obviously, it won't be that straightforward, as I mentioned earlier, which results in Din Djarin going to Tatooine to ask for Boba's help. He probably owes him one after helping out with the Syndicate previously, but then in the next episode, episode 4, is the Filoni and Favreau co-written episode, which tells me you're likely going to get Ahsoka in this one. Maybe Din Djarin's gone to ask her for help as well, or even maybe Luke, which would be even cooler to see how Boba reacts to that. However, I have a feeling it's more likely to be Ahsoka, and because we get to episode 7 and there's another Filoni episode. So if episode 4 isn't actually Ahsoka, then maybe she's episode 7, but I think as we've already seen her in previous seasons and in the Book of Boba Fett, then I think they'd probably save the bigger reveals towards the end, which means this could be the Ghost Crew, or some of them at least. Maybe Thrawn, but that's a bit of a stretch. I really think they're going to be saving her for the Ahsoka series. We might get a slight little maybe post-credit scene of Thrawn at the end of the Season 3. Here's my take on it and how this big reveal could actually be none of the characters we've mentioned. At a recent event in Brazil called CCXP 2022, which had a Star Wars panel that featured The Mandalorian, Pedro Pascal, Din Djarin himself, actually spoke about the secrets they're having to keep for this season. He spoke about surprises being the best part of the previous two seasons, and actually likening a secret for this season coming as a big Luke Skywalker or Grogu level reveal. Now, for me, that instantly surpasses the level of reveal the Ghost Crew would command, or even Thrawn, purely for the reason that the audience is already expecting them to show up at some stage. And it's not just because of our own speculation. We already know members of the Ghost Crew will be appearing in the Mandoverse. We've even got actors cast in the roles as public knowledge at this point. Yes, seeing them in The Mandalorian, it would be a few months earlier, and I think that probably will happen to get the audience used to them characters for when Ahsoka rolls around in the summer. And that would be a similar kind of idea to Thrawn, although there's no solid news on Thrawn's involvement in Ahsoka. We already know that's where her story is ultimately heading, whether it's going to be in Ahsoka or Ahsoka Season 2 or Mando Season 4, because she name-dropped him in Mandalorian Season 2. Now, a theory I I've got, and this was actually a heavily spoken about rumour for the Book of Boba Fett at the start of the year, is Harrison Ford de-aged as Han Solo. Often there isn't much smoke without fire, that's what I always like to say, and seeing as how well they de-aged Harrison Ford in the Indiana Jones 5 trailer, it got me wondering if that's something we could see. Ever since Mark Hamill was de-aged to return as Luke Skywalker, fans have been wondering if Han and Leia could eventually show up as well at some stage. And with the Mandalorians trying to retake Mandalore, who's to say they aren't backed up in a fight against the remnants of the Empire by the New Republic and Han Solo? Him, Chewie, the Falcon, the whole jazz. For something to be a Luke Skywalker level reveal, for me it has to be something completely unexpected, and the introduction of Han Solo, or even Leia, for example, would be positive. However, it doesn't have to be. These big reveals don't have to be a big, wow, that was incredible, that's my favourite character level moment. And if it's not a positive thing for our heroes, it could actually add more weight to a rumour that came out a little while back from Making Star Wars, who are usually really good with this kind of thing, is that Snoke's Praetorian guards are going to be in the next season. And they were guards swore to protect Snoke. Now, of course, they didn't do a great job of it in the sequel trilogy, but they were going up against Force sensitives in Kylo Ren and Rey. Now, Din Djarin isn't a Force sensitive, although he has the Darksaber, he isn't going to be as good of a fighter as them two. So we'll have to see how that one plans out. It could definitely be a really cool fighting scene in my opinion. But this would also begin to tie in the Mando verse to the sequels, which regardless in what side of the fence you're on, whether you would like to see that or not, this is what Lucasfilm are trying to do, adding a little more to that little glimpse that we saw of a clone inside a cloning tank by the looks of things on Navarro in an earlier episode of The Mandalorian. So regardless on what really does happen here, one thing's for sure, we're getting a double dose of that Dave Filoni mystical magic vibe in Mandalorian Season 3, which is twice as much as we've ever got in a season before. Now, what he's going to do with that, we'll have to wait and see. It could be some massive reveal. Maybe this massive reveal that Pedro Pascal was talking about comes from Dave Filoni, and I would have to think it would do, considering the increased role he has to do with this next season. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think the big level reveal could be a Han Solo de-aged, or do you think it could generally just be Snoke? Let me know in the comments. Remember to subscribe, leave a like. I'll catch you in the next one, and may the Force be with you.